Hello and welcome to Battle with the Best of Them with Dr. Yakman here. I'm going to go straight to my blog. I'm going to show you that I have, when you go to Nintendo Agenda on the blog, you go to the Battle with the Best of Them over here. I have updated the infographics for the Halloween events that are going on for the next Community Day and for upcoming events. So take a look at that. There's a new Spirit Tomb for Halloween. They're labeling it a Spooky Message 2019 as opposed to, they changed the name of the old one. It used to say just a Spooky Message. Now it says a Spooky Message 2018. So, and then here's some counters for Darkrai. I have not encountered him yet. I was stuck at work when the event started yesterday, and then when I got off work, I went out with some friends. Thank you, Melpaw, for the trades and the driving us around for shiny hunting. Also, I have updated my speculation page, as in to try to keep my videos shorter. If you want more in-depth stuff about a colossal discovery, and other upcoming events, I blacked out all the stuff that I had wrote before because it's kind of like moot at this point. But also some data mine information, the Looming in the Shadows that's coming up here soon. So take a look at that. I also have some more speculation and ideas and rumors that I've posted on the page. So, and I've also updated the shiny checklist with the new ones that have been added. Let's see here. There's Pikachu with a Mimikyu costume, Bulbasaur with a Shedinja costume, Charmander with a Cubone costume, and Squirtle with a Yamask costume. Those can all possibly be shiny. All of those are in raids except for Pikachu. He's out in the wild. And then Yamask and, I'm not saying this right, Cophagrigus? He's like a, kind of like a sarcophagus, Egyptian, like coffin type Pokemon when you evolve Yamask up. And speaking of Yamask, last night I caught a lot of them. None of them shiny though. The normal one is gold, but the shiny one is silver. None of them were Battle with the Best of them. And I caught a lot of Litwicks last night, so that was cool. A part of the Spirit Tomb research will get you a Litwick on the first page, and on the second page, it'll get you a Yamask. So 2 of these are Battle with the Best of them, and I actually have an Unova Stone. I'm not too sure which ones of these that I want to evolve. I have, like I said, 2 of them that are Battle with the Best of them. This one's good, and then this one's good. This one right here is good, but I don't know how much. Since it's my first one, I'm just probably going to do the higher CP one, because this one is, lower. It was from the field research from Spirit Tomb, but I'm just going to evolve this one. This will be my first, I think it's Lampert, something. Woohoo! Man, that's awesome. And then I will evolve this one. I'll do a side-by-side comparison, add some lucky candy to these too. During the Halloween event, all catches and hatches and pretty much everything gives you like double candy. And if you find second stage evolutions of Pokemon, it's great because you get double candy, or you get more candy as you go there, and then because of the event, you get double of that, and then with a Pinap Berry, you've got quadruple of that, and you get massive amounts of candy here. So this one's good. Wow. Even though this defense is weaker, I think this one, though, I'll go with. It's a little bit more closely balanced and it's a higher CP. So, I have to give it some items here. Make it 100. Boom. Got some other evolves to do, too. Wow, they just totally closed that when I hit evolve. There we go. Chandelure. This is going to be awesome. Actually, Chandelure is actually a pretty good for battles because it's fire and... Man, it's see-through. That's cool. Because it's Ghost and Fire, so it has a pretty cool move set and a pretty cool... I mean, there's other videos out there that are really descriptive about that. I'm not going to get into that too much. I did catch a couple of these Pikachus, none of them any good. Then also last night, let's just go through my shinies here. This is nuts. So, we got to talk about Trapinch Day first. I didn't get any good ones. I did get 6. On my blog, I posted, more stats or whatever. It took me well over an hour before I found my first Flygon. And it took me, before I found my first shiny Trapinch. And then halfway through the event, an hour and a half into it, I still only had 2. I was catching more after that, though. It seems, once you catch your first one, you seem to get a lot more as time goes on, usually on community days. But I ended up hatching this Onix, which is awesome. And this one is going to become Steelix, because I already have another Onix that I got. This one has better stats and better CP, but it's still not battleable with the best of them. But I don't care. I want a shiny Steelix. Beautiful. Nice. And then after Community Day, I hatched a shiny Feeboss. I can't tell you how many, when that field research day happened for it, I got none. Water event, none. I've hatched tons of them, none of them shiny. Finally, I hatched a shiny one, so that was really nice. And then finally, speaking of finally, I did close to 50, maybe even closer to 60 raids. I can't remember, I lost count because I did so many other raid days for this. And I know this is a trade, but it was actually a mirror trade. One of my first, or probably my first mirror trade. We became lucky friends finally, me and Shiro Okami. And we both had Giratinas that were not battleable, the best of them. So I was like, let's do a mirror trade since we got the lucky trade, might as well, so that they have better stats and they become lucky. And mine was, I put a heart on it, so it's 2 clicks from perfect. It would have been nice if it was perfect. I believe perfect is 2414. And this was also, when it's weather boosted, I should say. This is also weather boosted, but because it's a lucky trade, when we go to power it up, it's half the cost to power that up. So that's pretty nice. And then last night when I was with friends, this is a new one for me. I've never caught a shiny Dewskull, and I've never caught a shiny Houndour, so that's pretty cool. Meanwhile, the 2 of the other people that we were with, they had caught shinies of ones that they had tons of shinies already of, Magikarp and Turtwig. So that was kind of sad for them, but I ended up lucking out there. Let's see here. Something to talk about too, like I'm going to show you this. I'm only going to get rid of a couple of them right now, but look. Wow, you can actually select the costumed Pikachu for a mass transfer. So that's good to know, especially since we're probably going to be catching a bunch of those, and most of them during these event things they stink. So That's because it is not under costume. So when you have costume ones, it usually shows all the hat Pikachus and the Eevees and the Evolutions and all that stuff, and the Squirtles with the sunglasses, but not this new Pikachu. It's not under the costume thing, so that's probably why it's allowing you to mass transfer it. So that's cool. Speaking of mass transfers, I have, this is -3 because of my Zatus that I've got. But these are all ones that I can get rid of. Now you can't mass transfer legendaries still, of course. I do need to mass transfer a lot of Giratinas and a lot of other ones too to make room. But I was saving all of these. These were from field research, recent catches, and stuff like that. I've been saving all of these because you get double candy when you transfer. So that's cool. I'm going to jump over to my gallery here real quick. My voice is cracking like crazy. Purchase limit 1. That's sometimes when they're messing with the boxes, it's good to wait until they're done and restart the app just to make sure, because they change the items up every once in a while when they do events. I can imagine that there's like a married couple that works on this and they're like arguing over what people are going to get. That's rare to find in the wild. 2 Gligers in the wild. That's crazy. Rare to find in the wild. Nidorino. Catch 3 Trapinch. This is something that they added for the Trapinch Community Day. And it gave you a Trapinch. And it was funny because Shiro Okami, she got 2, and they were both shiny. In fact, her first and her third shiny. She ended up getting 7. I got 6. So, then they also had them for Golden Raspberries. So that's cool that they're adding encounters and new things for the Community Day tasks, because usually those are pretty lame. They give you like 5 Great Balls or something like that. This was weird. I tried to take a picture of it, but they had disappeared because I walked too far away from them. But there was a Nidoran female and a Makuhita here, but there was also a Nidoran female and a Makuhita here. Now, a lot of people were having problems on Trapinch Day. This was one of the only times that I saw a mass cluster of them. Usually I see them all the time on community days, but this was one of the only ones. And as you can see, there's a Rosalia mixed in there. Usually on community days, it's about 2/3 of them end up being the community day Pokemon, because it's if you're at a park and there's nested Pokemon, those all become the community day Pokemon after the event starts. So then you have like the extra spawns for them, the nested spawns become them. But this time it was like less than it seemed like half of the spawns, which there wasn't a lot of spawns because of the spawn rework they've had in the last couple of weeks. There wasn't a lot of spawns for Trapinch, which was, there was more Lillipups in some of these situations than Trapinch. It was crazy. Some people were calling it Lillipup Day. I didn't get another shiny Lillipup, but I did think to myself, I am going to get another shiny of something else before I get this Trapinch, because it was about an hour in, and here's a 999, but I actually caught one that was even higher, 1050. There was a raid. The only raid that showed up at the park, I went to Delco Park, was a Trapinch raid. Wasn't shiny for me. Then I hatched a shiny Onyx, like I said, which I just evolved that. You already saw that. These were appearing out of the park, which usually there's only like 1 or 2, but this time there was 3. That was kind of crazy. I totally ignored all... somebody had a magnetic lure down here, and they ended up attracting 2 Lairons, so that's pretty crazy. But I ignored all raids except for that one. Well, there was no other raids, really. I mean, there was far-off ones, but I didn't walk to them. I was concentrating on Community Day. And I ignored all the Shadow Pokemon things, even though they've been adding new ones. So, here's my results from that. I got something from Sydney, Australia. 2 Vulpexes. That's rare to find in the wild. I got invited to Worsel's thing tomorrow. Congratulations, Worsel. Well, I'm congratulating him early. He's one of the top players in the area. He will be hitting 200 million experience tomorrow during the raid train, and I'm going to have to wake up mega early, and I'm not going to be able to stay on it for too long because I got to go to work, open up. But before then, I'm going to, raid for some Darkrai since it's the new one. And also, here's this, I got 59.1 kilometers, and somebody was complaining that they didn't get any eggs even though they had open slots. I usually always get eggs if if I do that. I was trying to close out a field research here, and then it ended up opening up a different field research, and then it had the map stats on here. As you can see, the radar down here, and my Dr. Gakman face here. So yeah, I had to get out of that and go back in. Been having problems with the Pokemon Go Plus. Yesterday, it came back on. It was awesome, and it was working, and I was testing it, and it, but then all of a sudden it went off again, and it was funny because it happened when I got to the second page of my special research for Spiritomb, because that one requires you to catch 108 Pokemon. And then, wouldn't you know, my Pokemon Go Plus doesn't work anymore. It was working, and then it wasn't working. Hatched the shiny Feebas. That's pretty awesome. Why am I taking a picture of this? Giratina. Oh, because it was 8:46 at night, and there was still one really late at night, so that's cool. Found a Donphan in the wild. Another Among Us. This one I actually got a chance to catch. The last Among Us that I found in the wild on the last video was... it glitched out when I tried to catch it. Now, a bunch of these Pokemon are showing up like what happened with the Turtwig. Before Turtwig Community Day, it had a shadow, and also its evolutions had a shadow once you caught it, or even when you already had it, acting like you had never had it before. They do this when these Pokemon end up going, rare to find in the wild, when they end up going shadow, and becoming like a Team Go Rocket, captured shadow Pokemon or whatever. And they just appear on the map, and they take precedent too. I'll show you this. Why did I take a picture of this? Oh, yeah, this is another thing too. Wow, I'm going off on a bunch of different tangents here. Man, the video is already way too long. But as you can see, the Pokemon is appearing in the road. They didn't do that. They stopped doing that like a couple months into the game when the game first came out, because what was happening was, there was people like saying, "Oh, well, it's causing accidents, and people are driving while they're playing, and blah blah blah, and all this other stuff," right? Which still happens anyway, but whatever. But since they've had this spawn point reworking, there have been this happening, which usually sometimes they appear on the edge, but not right out in the center of the street. Now this one's a parking lot street kind of thing, because this is the Delco Sprint, but even still, they shouldn't. Usually they appear on either side of a street, and in fact, there's some of them, I think in the original coding, they just appear on the map, and they have a spawn point, but then the map draws the spawn points before it draws the actual gyms and stops and the roads and landmarks in the game. It draws the skyline, the map, the spawns, and then it draws the rest of that stuff. So that's where the problem was. They put code in there to where like it would make them not appear on the road. And sometimes, and this is a classic place too, Penn Station and then the UDF across the street that's on the Delco Sprint, they used to appear on that road all the time when the game first came out. But then after they fixed that, they would the same Pokemon would appear on both sides of that street. So like if there was a Squirtle on one side, it would also appear on the other side of the street. This is one of the places where that happens. It happens at other places too. And I think it's because in the code it's trying to put it on the street, but then this secondary bit of coding tells them no, not on the street, and then they end up splitting that spawn into two of the same on either side of the street. So that happens sometimes. Be aware of that. But for whatever reason, they're spawning in streets again now because of this new. There's another one from Nebraska. That's cool. And then there's more shadow ones. And as you can see, it's making the shadow ones take precedent over all other ones. So it's kind of annoying. You're seeing a bunch of shadows on your thing, like as if you've never caught them before. And they're also appearing out of order, because usually it would be this ash tree, and then that church. But since both of those are shadow possible, or because they've become shadow in the Team Rocket thing, they are now appearing first before all other spawns, or before all other radar Pokemon that are already in your decks. Like as if they're new dex entries. It's making them take precedent, which then puts the stops out of order, because usually it would be like I said, this stop here, here, and here, and then the next stop here. But instead, it just made the 2 shadow stops there. And Stantler, that's rare to find in a while. And I finally became lucky friends with her. That was cool. There was a Pikachu. That one's also, I guess, going shadow soon. So that's why it's appearing like as if either that or it was because of the costume. I finally got this Giratina. It was not that good. I hatched a Litwick, which was a good one. So that was good. And there's that Pikachu again. Here was the stats beforehand, and then after I made my mirror trade, you saw that it was good. This was one that I was going to put up, but this is funny. It's wearing a Mimikyu costume, which is funny because there's a Mimikyu hat that you can wear, and then there's a Mimikyu costume for Pikachu, but Mimikyu is still not in the game yet. There's a Yamask. I couldn't get to it because I was stuck at work. That's rare to find in the wild. And like I said, they changed this. It used to say a spooky message. Now it says a spooky message 2018. And now this year says a spooky message 2019. We still don't know. I've heard conflicting things. Most people are saying, no, it's not shiny. It's not shiny possible. But supposedly some people are saying that it is shiny possible. It's just nobody's, gotten to that point yet or whatever. By now, I'm sure millions of people have probably gotten to it because, when they grind, they go through it really fast. But and there's also different encounters. This was last year's, and the encounters were for Duskull and Misdreavus. This year and Lickitung. This year it's different. So here's some of the Halloween event things, blah, blah, blah. There's the Mimikyu one. There's Darkrai. Couldn't get to him. I was stuck at work. I still haven't battled him yet. They changed the adventure box, and you see max revives. That's because they are expecting you, I guess, to battle more Shadow, or Team Rocket, I guess. And also Pineapple Berries, which is great, because if you're low on berries when you're trying to do the 108 berry thing, which all you have to do is you click on the Pokemon, give it a berry, and then run away. It'll count towards your 108, by the way. A little tip there. But this gives you 20 Pineapple Berries, and then also because it's the Halloween event, you get double candy, so that's quadruple candy there. And they finally made it to where you get 10 and then 6 of the respective incubators, so that's awesome. I didn't buy the onesie. I was just wearing it just to show it off, and the Litwick cap. Those two I might think about getting. I don't know. They're kind of funny. And then here's more of those shadow Pokemon. And there's my Mimikyu I put in there. I was waiting for it to hatch. It was a 1K, or a 1 tier, and I was hoping that it was going to be a Squirtle, because I really want the Squirtle with the top hat, the Yamask top hat, but it wasn't. It ended up being a Drifloon, and it was not shiny for me, and blah, blah, blah. And then quickly, that night, I had already finished the first page. I've been seeing a couple of, what do you call that? Fairy types out. So there's that. That's kind of rare to find in the wild. This gave me quadruple candy because I gave it it was unbelievable. That was a lot of candy. So that made me happy. This is rare to find in the wild. And boom, there's all my pictures. Let me show you some of my trades recently. I have to thank Melpov again. Because I got another unknown. That's awesome. And this one was from France. So that's why I have the little degree behind it to show that it's from far, far away. And then also, here's some other far away ones. Nebraska again. A bunch of these I can trade. I've already hit my thing, but I'm going to help Shiro, Kami, and others make their pilot badge. I caught another Heatmore last night. It wasn't very good. Ashmore Cherim. But yeah, I already went through the shinies. I already made my evolves. Oh, here's one evolve that I did not do last week. And I saved it for this video for this week. I don't have enough candy, so let me give it some candy. Finally get to make, I think it's called Escadrille or something. This will be a new entry for me. Got 3 new entries and new shinies. I've been having a pretty good couple of days in Pokemon Go, and this Halloween event just started, and it's already been pretty good to me. Nice. Excadrill, I guess. He's excavating, I guess. Let me see here. What else am I looking at? I did my evolves, and oh, here's another thing. I hatched another perfect here. Lillipup. So that's cool. There's no other Pokemon out besides Litwick to go all the way up to Chandelure and Pampor to become Semipore that use the Unova Stone right now. And speaking of which, I got to go through my tasks now. This will be my stamp for today. Makuhita. I do need to make my 108 catches, but I'll wait for that. And then I gotta do this. Will it be finally a shiny Flower Crown Eevee? Nope. You gotta be kidding me. And if this isn't Battle with the Best of them again, this is like probably the worst. I know people were begroaning it when it first came out, but I was like, man, this will be a great way to get the shiny ones because I want a shiny of each, like of the Flower Crown Eevee evolutions. Guess what? None. None. None for me. And in fact, this one, I guess, is good enough to evolve because it's a battle with the best of them. But I've only had 2 so far that have been good enough to be battle with the best of them. So I'm on my special research, but let me go through these other ones too. That was a Sneasel for the Halloween thing. There's another one that's for Golett, which I don't have a Golett, so I want to do it. It's 3 excellent throws in a row. But that's one that you probably want to save for when you're doing a Darkrai raid. And then on my special research, I'm on the 2nd page. I need to get more Dark types, and I need to get a lot more Pokemon. But as you can see, when I hit this, it's acting like it's connecting. And watch it make a liar out of me. No, it's not connecting. My thing is already going off. And, you know, I don't know why they can't fix that in the code. Other people on other phones, I've seen other videos, and they've been able to connect. Again, they were having problems in the beginning. I was able to connect yesterday for a couple of hours, and then all of a sudden, boom. Of course, when I need it the most to try to get my 108 catches for Spiritomb, don't work again. Oh well, that's a gripe, but yeah. So gave you some tips, gave you some news. Went through my research. New Team Rocket, Go Rocket. Shadows, Chimchar's coming up. I wrote about that on my blog too. The Regirock or the Reggie Trio is coming out here soon on a weekend, the first weekend of November, and Regigigas is also coming, and then the Halloween stuff and blah blah blah. Yeah, so thanks for watching. Sorry this was so long, man. I really need to work on making these shorter, but there was a lot of stuff to go over with this Halloween stuff. And there's even more on my blog, so please check that out. Happy hunting out there, and thanks for watching.